So, I mean, I was feeling abandoned. I was feeling
Mhm.
unloved. I felt like it was like I was having to do everything and getting nothing. And I,
Yeah.
I felt like everything that I didn't want in life was happening to me.
Welcome back to Positive Vibes. I'm Nicki Dennis. Today's guest has walked through the shadows and come out holding a light, not just for herself, but for every woman who is still finding her way home. Heidi Lynn is an energy healer, light worker, and divine channel who works with high achieving, empathic women who look like they have it all together, but inside they are carrying unhealed trauma from narcissistic abuse and developmental wounds. Her journey began in survival, growing up in a lineage marked by emotional neglect and control. For years, she believed love had to be earned and peace was out of reach, until she discovered the deep patterns of developmental trauma disorder and learned how to release them. Now, she helps women feel safe in their bodies again, reclaim their feminine power, and rise into their soul's purpose. Today, we are going to talk about what it truly means to heal, to rise, and finally come home to yourself. Heidi, welcome to Positive Vibes.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Great intro.
You're welcome. So, Heidi, can you take us back to the moment when you realized you were living in survival mode, even though on the outside you look like everything was fine?
I would say, after going through all my childhood stuff and always knowing that there was something wrong and having, a bleeding desire to heal myself, I thought I was okay. You know, I
Mhm.
thought I kind of had it all together. I was married. I had a really good real estate and career in real estate. And I actually was going to go to marriage counseling. And I went to a theta healer. And after my first session with her, it was like a huge weight was lifted off me. And I thought to myself, you know what? There's something really deep going on within me that I don't understand, and I need to work on this. And so instead of bringing my husband into the counseling, I worked on myself for an entire year. And
Okay.
that's when I started to understand that these are deep-seated programs that are in your body. They're in your cells, they're in your subconscious, and they're in your physical body. And you have to release them and heal them so that you can move on in life.
hmm So, going a little bit deeper into that, what was your inner world like during that time? What were you feeling?
I was married, as I said,
hmm
but again, I attracted somebody who gave me all the things that I was projecting out energetically. So at the
hmm
beginning, he was, my soulmate and I loved him, but then he pulled away love. So, I mean, I was feeling abandoned, big thing with people with developmental trauma disorder. I was
hmm
feeling unloved. I felt like it was like I was having to do everything and getting nothing. And I
Yeah.
and I felt like everything that I didn't want in life was happening to me, even though I thought on the outward, side, people saw this successful real estate agent who was doing really well. Everybody
Mm.
knew me. I was one of the top realtors in my area and outgoing, fun, social butterfly.
Yeah.
But at home, I was sad, depressed, lonely, just dying inside. Absolutely
Mm.
dying.
And was that the specific turning point where you thought, well, I'm happy at work, but I'm sad at home? Or was there a different point of time, a breakdown, a breakthrough, a whisper from your intuition that started your journey with your healing?
My actual journey started when I was 15 years old.
Mm.
And I was in a foster home, and I was actually continuing to be beaten inside of the foster home that I was in.
Mm.
And because I hit back, I was taken out of the foster home, and I my mother's sister took me in. They brought me to a hypnotherapist. And that's where everything changed because at that point in life, I had decided that I didn't want to live anymore. I was going to commit suicide. I didn't like this world. I was like, I'm not of this world, and I don't want these feelings inside of me anymore. And after about the third session, my mind changed. I started seeing that there was like, there was a future out there, that this isn't the way you have to live. So in that, I got this burning desire. It was like this fire coming inside from my belly of like, I'm going to heal myself. And
Mm,
that's where it really started. And I've had, since I've been 15 years old, I've done everything from, traditional therapy to hypnosis and all the things, NLP and the breaking of the boards and the walking across the fire and, energy healing, theta healing, you name it, I've done it. And I
mm,
just was on a quest. And that's what started the quest was the shift in my mindset in the hypnotherapy.
mm. It's remarkable that at 15 you sought help and you're healing, and very grateful now because you're here helping a lot of women work through their issues.
Yeah.
You work with a lot of women that are often successful but they're struggling slightly. Why do you think trauma hides behind achievement?
Because you're trying to prove yourself.
Mm,
And most women who are in this situation that I was in, which is, they've been abused as a child, they are using the masculine
mm,
prove themselves to fight for themselves because they're always in struggle, they're always in survival mode. They're not allowed to be feminine and soft. They have to fight for everything. And
mm,
that's how it was for me. That's actually how I got to do so well in real estate. I mean, but every day I was wiped out. You know,
mm.
it was where, it's just pushing and pushing all the time. It wasn't just flowing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that's resonating with how you felt and feel that themselves. You you've spoken about the narcissistic abuse and the developmental trauma disorder. How did understanding the developmental trauma disorder shift the way you saw yourself and your story?
Well, it made me understand that developmental trauma disorder is something that happens when it happens starting from the womb to age 10. You come in here born and you're innocent and you are being programmed from the moment you're in, energetically, physically, spiritually programmed by all this abuse. And your
Mm,
subconscious mind, always trying to do the best thing for you, is creating some programs as well to try and protect you, but they're not working in your highest and best. And
mhm,
so developmental trauma disorder is something where it's familiar, you have familiarity, love has to be earned. You just start learning all these things. You're a big sponge from the time you're in the womb until you're 10. And so instead of having a healthy childhood and, knowing to love yourself and to be able to support yourself and all of the things that you would have in a healthy childhood, it's all of the darkness and the control and whatever the narcissistic sociopathic parents have used you for to create, to make their own narcissistic supply feel better,
mhm.
right?
So,
So you just become conditioned to
yeah.
serve others'
Mm,
needs and wants, and then always being in struggle mode and always walking on eggshells to always be, because you're always in protection. And
mm,
then what happens is you get out of the home, right? You're out of the home, you're living on your own, you're supporting yourself, but these programs are still running in the background. So
mm,
you're attracting a relationship with someone who's going to hurt you because love is not love, right? Abuse is love. That's
mhm,
familiar. That's what you go to. So all these programs and patterns need to be broken, they need to be healed, and they need to be reset. Kind of like when you're resetting a computer, wiping off the viruses, installing a new program, new software.
mm. So you mentioned before that you often felt exhausted and things weren't flowing. For women
Mm.
listening who feel exhausted from holding it all together, what is the first sign that it's time to seek deep healing?
I would say, especially when you're getting into your 40s and 50s, there's going to
Hmm.
be physical exhaustion.
Yeah.
There's going to be extreme physical exhaustion. Um, you're going to be, they might be going to severe solitude. I have clients who have thought of, suicide,
Mm,
severe depression. Basically, you've been fighting and fighting and fighting your whole life and making it happen, and all of a sudden, everything's coming crushing down on you. And it can look many different ways depending on what your life is. Your marriage fell apart. You're all of a sudden your friends that have been your best friends forever turning their back on you or stabbing you in the back. There's all sorts of different things that can happen. And in that moment, you need to sit back and think to yourself, why is this happening to me? And then and when these things start to happen, it's like the skeletons, if we'd say.
mm,
Skeletons are the closet's getting pulled wide open and all your skeletons are coming out.
yeah. So just on that, skeletons coming out,
Mhm.
there's again, a fear base there that women may not want to know their skeletons, but you often talk about helping women feel safe in their bodies, in their own bodies. What does safety really mean in that context?
So you're going to feel safe in your body because there's things that you don't have anymore, like the deep anxiety.
Hmm.
When I was going through a really hard time with all of this, it was like I had this just skin crawling from the inside out anxiety.
Mm,
And, oh, okay, I'll have a couple glasses of wine at night. That would make it worse. Getting some prescriptions. It will work for a minute, then it won't. That's that feeling of being unsafe in their body. The one nice thing to know about the healing work that I do is I do not do like talk therapy. In fact, because I do channeling work, we do
mhm,
very little talking about what happened. I don't want to hear their story. I don't want them to keep repeating and putting their story in the universe. What I want to do is channel in and read their energy and find it from their guides, and then use that, confirm it with them that I'm on the right track or get any other information. And then we go in and heal it. They don't have to refeel it over and over and over again, like in talk therapy. We can bring it to the surface, make sure we're working on the right path, and then I can get rid of it on the emotional level, the spiritual level, the body level, energetics,
mhm.
everything.
Yeah. And you mentioned before women often in living in this space is in their masculine armor or they carry a lot of masculine energy, especially those women that are survivors in this space.
Mhm.
And they do that to protect themselves, as you said before. How do you guide them back into a softer, more feminine way of living without losing their sense of strength?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm,
So once they have because there's different phases of the healing programs I do, and everything is,
mm,
individually channeled to your situation. But once we get through the part of clearing the blocks, clearing the energy, clearing the subconscious mind, getting
mm,
things out of there, we've got, there's layers of it, but we've got a good clean slate. Then I start teaching them how to do things like energetic protection, how to set boundaries gently. And what happens is because we've cleared out that energy and they're starting to learn how to protect themselves energetically and, verbally and all of this in the right way, their energy starts changing and the energy of the things going on around them start changing. So they start feeling safe in their body because they are creating a safe environment for themselves.
mm,
As you know, we all create our reality.
mm,
Right. It's literally taking out the old reality and recreating a new for them. So you feel safe in your body and you feel safe to be feminine and be free and you because you're creating things in your life that are loving and supporting of you. And
mm.
anything that does come into your life, instead of going like this, which is what the masculine would do, nope,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for me anymore. But you feel safe saying it doesn't work for me anymore because you know that you deserve better and you're not running a program in the background saying, I'm not worthy of this, this isn't for me, or, I'm going to be beaten if I set this boundary. So there's a lot of pieces that go into it, but then they feel safe in their body. They're allowed to be feminine And then we talk about channeling through divinely guided actions because
Hmm.
those are the ones you want to do. I
Yeah.
know as myself, it was masculine. Do. But not aligned. Just
Yeah.
getting it done.
I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there resonating with exactly what you're saying there. But just to go further and without breaking any privacy, can you share a moment with a client when you saw that spark of reconnection, that moment they felt free again?
Absolutely. I have a client who was actually a very dear friend of mine who worked for a very large corporation in the United States. And she was pretty high up in this corporation. And they used her as a scapegoat. They put her
Mm,
into a new position and used her as a scapegoat. So, they could do something they wanted to do, and then they fired her.
hmm
And she's been this high-powered woman forever, and that broke her. She was completely suicidal. She actually did try to commit suicide once. And I said, I got you, girl. And she came to see me. Now, this was at this point, she wasn't working the job anymore. She was homeless and she just tried to commit suicide. And I said, we're gonna take care of this. I did all of the clearing. I worked with her for 4 days straight. We did all of the clearing work and I brought in what she needed and I helped her feel safe in her body. And it was like at one point, it was like, I'm channeling stuff from her guides. She finally like was able to open her channel. We got it open enough that she started bringing these things in and she's like, I am this powerful woman. You know what? I can use my CEO abilities to get a new job in something where I'm helping people. And she was just grifting, and I'm going, that's it.
Yeah.
She caught it. And within a month after that, she got her dream job. She's saving for a home. She wanted to have a tiny home. And she was like, I can't believe this. And then she let me in on a secret. She actually had another attempt planned.
Oh.
She canceled the Airbnb where she was going to do it at.
Mm,
And I can't believe I ever would have done this. And
mm,
it was just so amazing to see somebody who, came in so broken and
mm,
it watching the shift of where she took on that, being and she took on who she was. And it was like she became herself. She became her true authentic self in that moment.
mm. That's an amazing story. And again, for you to be her friend is just, again, how the universe works all together. But to s- understand that, she's gone from her high and thought that's who she was to so broken that she wanted to take her life. And then to actually do the work with you and to see that she's soaring and see herself as herself. That's just amazing and a beautiful story to share. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I am just it was really hard, I will tell you, because it had the personal element.
Mm, yeah,
But I'm
absolutely.
not letting her leave until she's healed. And she took it on.
Yeah.
With one thing that I'm called to tell you for whatever reason right now was I remember we were sitting outside in the patio and all these butterflies just came to surround us and started just swirling around us when, she was talking like that. And, she was in the last day there. And I was like,
Yeah,
this is a sign. You,
absolutely. Butterflies are a beautiful sign. Yes. You
I love
actually
that.
rebirthed her to actually see her for who she always was. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how does unresolved trauma block someone from living their soul true calling?
Because they actually do not remember who they really are.
Mm,
They are being completely blocked. And I can speak from personal experience on this because it was like, I remember saying, what's my calling? What's my calling? I don't know what my calling is. And then I actually did a video recently where it all hit me. And I was like, what are you talking about, Heidi? Every channeled reading, you have it written in books. You've known this since you've been a kid. But the programming
mm,
blocked me. And it's like they were trying to come through my whole life to tell me what I need to do and that I need to do this work. And there were, this programming and these blocks that are in your energetic system literally block your brain and your consciousness from knowing what it is. Because we all actually do know.
Mm.
Part of what I do too is that why opening their channel and bringing it in, and then they find it out, and I watch them light up. Like,
Yeah.
we got it. That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah. So, what actually shifts when a woman starts leading her life from truth instead of trauma?
Everything starts to work out for you.
Mm.
Everything. And things start to be synchronicities start to happen.
Yeah.
It's life. I mean, let's be honest. Things are not always going to go 100% perfect, and sometimes that might be a little challenge. And to make sure that maybe she's really ready for it.
Mm.
But in the big scheme of things, things are starting to really work out.
Yeah.
And she can see patterns, and she can see that, I want, whatever it is. Let's say you want to start a podcast, like you're doing a podcast. All of a sudden, she'll go somewhere just for dinner and happen to meet, the bartender who says, "Oh, my mom does podcasts," and just the little things and the little synchronicities will
Mm.
start to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everything starts to flow. The universe puts it all in the plan there, but you're actually seeing the plan where sometimes you weren't seeing the plan because, yeah, you're so disconnected. So you
Yeah.
touched on before you were asking, to find your purpose. If
Mhm.
someone is disconnected from their purpose, how can they begin to tune into their intuition or align into their soul path?
Well, so one of them would obviously be channeling,
Hmm.
and um, you know, everybody can channel. They'll people will say, "Oh, I can't do it." Well, that's a choice. Everybody can do it. And I know that people would want to work with me. They're going to want to do that because that's where they're going to get their guidance on how to implement this life purpose as well. But that's one of the things that I teach. I channel for them and bring and open up their channel. And then I teach them how to do it. I teach
Hmm.
them how to connect. And then they start bringing it in for themselves. One really good thing, though, that I think is great for anybody who right now is saying, "Well, I don't know how to channel, and I'm not
Hmm.
doing this right this minute, but what can I do?" Go start looking through old photo albums, books, that box of stuff you had from your past. Start talking to maybe your family members that are still alive. What did I used to say I wanted to do when I was a kid? What was I good at? You're going to find a pattern in there, and it's going to be something that lights you up. That's a big hint of what your actual purpose work is.
Mm. No, good tip. I'm sure there'll be lots of people taking that up. Yeah, because we do forget when we're that
Yeah,
young, what our dreams and what we aspire to be because of that conditioning, as you've said before. And then we get on the merry-go-round and can't remember. So I'm sure there'll be lots of conversations out there with our listeners and their families. Yeah.
that would be great. Yeah, that's what I was saying was so funny was my guides decided to, I was just moving everything recently and packing things up because I'm be traveling for my
Yeah.
business. And I was going through things. I was led to go through things, and they kind of were like, "Joke's on you, Heidi. Look at," and I was laughing going through this, going, "They've literally been telling me my whole life. This is
Yeah.
hilarious." And I can remember I was like 2017, 18, 19, something like that. I'm screaming, "God, what's my purpose? I just want to know my purpose."
I'm sure there's many of us out there that are doing that now or have done that in the past. So yeah, we can really resonate with you around that. So
Yes.
Heidi, can you share a mantra or an affirmation that you return to often?
Mantra and affirmation. What I tend to do every day when I go into meditation, which I
Hmm.
do suggest that everybody meditate every single day.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start your day or end your day if you need to be. I go in and I do I ams. And the reason why I do I ams is because you are speaking that into the universe. And
Hmm.
anything that you say after the word I am, you are creating. You're creating it in the astral field, and if you keep doing it, it will create in the physical field. So you can write out the I ams that you want. Or, I'll just close my eyes and I start getting directed by my guides of what to say or
Hmm.
something that I need to say. I am the beauty of the earth. I say I'm a light worker, I'm a channel, I'm a healer. I'm bringing in my, most beautiful clients to help them serve in the highest and best way. I'm serving my purpose here on earth. Whatever it is. But I think that that I am is really powerful. And
Mm,
I know some people say, well, affirmations don't necessarily work. Well, if you're in a meditative state and you're feeling the vibration of it and you believe it when you say it, it will.
mm. No, good advice. I'm sure
Mhm.
there'll be some people changing their practice or adding it into their practice as well. Yeah, so great advice. And
Mhm.
Heidi, what does coming home to yourself mean to you?
Coming home to myself, becoming the true, authentic person that I came here to be.
Mm.
I was actually thinking about this. What a coincidence, right? Just the other day that, when I was saying I am my authentic true self in my meditations a couple days ago, it was, the feeling of I know that my whole life I've been fighting to try and really be me. I
Mm.
just wanted to feel safe being who I am and not being judged or being beaten. I really honestly know that now I can be me. I don't feel I'm quirky, I'm silly, I'm super serious, I'm super spiritual, I'm weird. I let my freak flag fly and I don't care. I set boundaries unapologetically. And unapologetically, I'm going to go and do the best I can to be out there in the world and bring my message to people without fear. That and that is being home to myself of who I truly came here to be. And I always say it's feel the fear and I'm going to step it anyways. I'm going to keep going. Have I been this way always? Absolutely not.
Mm.
But it feels home. It feels safe.
Yeah. And that's beautiful that you can do that because when you're feeling safe, you're actually providing so much kindness and care to other people in the world to
Thank
feel the same. So thank you, Heidi. And
you.
just on that, so where can our listeners connect with you, learn more about your healing work, or join your programs?
Absolutely. I have HeidiLynn.com and it's Heidi, Heidi, just like there,
Mm-hmm.
Lyne.com. And on this website, it talks about the programs that I have, VIP one-on-one programs and healing retreats and workshops. Tells you all about me. You can send a message and ask questions. And I also have a free energy clearing and healing meditation that
Mm.
anybody can sign up for. I suggest listen to it daily. Clears you. It helps you bring in the vibration of whatever you need for the day. I do some I ams in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets you up for the day. So, and that's a freebie that I have there on the website.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm sure our listeners will be jumping on board and downloading that for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for the woman listening who feels she's still in that survival mode, what's one loving message you want her to hear today?
You came here for a reason. You
Yeah.
listened this to for a reason. It's time to take the step and make the change. You are loved and you will be held and you can change.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Wonderful message to all our listeners out there. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for bringing compassion, truth, and hope into this conversation. Your journey reminds us that healing isn't about becoming someone new, it's remembering who we have always been. So thank you so much, Heidi, for your advice and knowledge here today.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And to everyone listening, you are worthy of peace, safety, and joy. And no matter what you've been through, your story isn't over. This is Positive Vibes. Until next time, keep your heart open, your spirit grounded, and your light shining. Sending you all love and positive vibes. Bye for now.